Um, but now that surgery is over and all that, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Come on in. Say hello when you come on. Say hello when you come on. Happy Tuesday. Y'all, February is almost over. Just like that. You blink and that's it. But we thank God for his blessings. We thank God that we've survived a whole month under this new administration. We got let's see, 47 months more to go. Oh Lord Jesus, help us. But anyway, if you are just joining us, hello from Canada. Let me put on my glasses because um I love my Bajuloa. Yes. Thank God for extra eyes. Hello from Canada. If you are just but that picture you posted, did you see it? Listen, I'm single, as you can see. So I'm not. I'm not searching actively, but I'm single. What can I say? It is what it is. I haven't worn those stiletto boots in forever. Like I completely even forget because you get to a point like I need to call me listen. But it's like you know what? Let's see if the girl still got it. But like let's see remember if I know how to walk on stiletto heels. I was like, girl, she still got it. But anyway, I digress. If you're just joining us for the first time, let us know where you're joining us from. Welcome. We welcome you to the most positive space on the social media platform when it comes to immigration and the group of immigrants, as Miss Ellen Sanctuary would say. This is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Excuse me, I almost choked on my own. Hello, Miss 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕799 from Maryland. Thank you. This is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, if it's a case that we handle, reach out to us at 334-341-4475. We will be glad to represent you. Hi, Miss Lucy. And we'll be glad to represent you in your immigration case. We represent immigration clients regardless of the state you live in. Unless you live in Alaska, because Alaska. Because see, Alaska, I may be wrong, but that's just me. If you know any Nigerian living in Alaska, please let me know, because I would love to have a conversation with them and figure out how in God's name they ended up there. But subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on all that social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and we will be glad to welcome you into our immigration community. This is our positive space, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now. And we'll get to that in a little while. So to promotion from class prefect, she won't be able to make it to okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, I hope he's okay. Thank you for letting me look class prefect. But we will be we'll be glad to represent you. This is a positive space with everything that's going on, seriously, everything that's going on, especially in immigrant community. And there's so much anxiety, so much apprehension. If we can come together and create a safe space for ourselves, why not, right? That is exactly what we do here. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. Every other time zone, Google or Alexa or Siri, one of the three would give you the information. But anyway, let's talk immigration. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are trying to build that. Mr. Magic is on. What in God's name happened? Did rapture happen or something? I love for La Mama. So let's talk immigration, y'all. There's a whole lot going on. And when I tell you that our phone lines have been blowing up, because yesterday was Monday, I was asking my secretary, Shanti, I was like, did something happen over the weekend? Did I miss something? Because I could not even concentrate. I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, people are freaking out, like, understandably so, right? But let's talk immigration tonight. If you are joining us for the first time, please let us tell you how this works. I said I must show up today. I don't want to like I'm running away. Well, we'll see how often you come back. But thank you for coming this night. We miss you, and we actually miss your troubles. We're like, yeah, it's like we didn't. I'm serious. Hey, Miss Malavi, how are you? Okay, so we will be glad to represent you in your immigration case, yes, but please listen. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome in. We welcome you. We get to, and I get to questions that, so you put your questions in the comment section. I get to questions, tell God's favorite. At the end of what we need to talk about, please do not repeat your questions. If you repeat your questions, they will be skipped. I will completely skip them because that's just distracting and taking the time away from other people. So just leave your question in the comment section. We'll get to as many as we possibly can. I was going to do question 9 tonight, but there's so many immigration rumors going on. I said, let's clarify those first of all, so that everybody can know what's true, what's not true. Okay, so let's get right into it. Let's start with, can I travel? Cannot no travel? And I'll say this. I always say this all the time, and I'll say it one more time. I do not give advice about traveling if you're not a client of my firm. That's just, if you're not my client, I don't give advice about travel because I don't know about your case. I responded to your email. I don't know anything about your case. So your best bet is to speak with the attorney on your case. They know about you. They are competent with the facts of your case, so they will be in the best position to advise you whether or not to travel. So let's get into what we're going to talk about. What we're talking about tonight: true or false immigration edition. That's what we're talking tonight. True or false immigration edition. So things that you've been hearing in around on social media and everything, like the guy that's been going around on TikTok and all social media platforms, like you cannot use your hometown passport. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll get to that. True or false immigration edition. Put your questions in the comment section. Please do not repeat your questions. If you repeat your questions, they will be skipped. So if you're wondering if your question, why your question is not being answered, besides not getting enough time to get to it, and you see that you have repeated it more than once, that will be the reason. Okay, first things first, let's start with that issue. And I think I talked about that on Thursday, and true and false immigration edition. I talked about that on Thursday. Is it true that you cannot travel if you are a U.S. citizen? You cannot travel, or if you're a green card holder, you cannot travel outside the United States without having a visa for the country that you're traveling to. And first of all, and I said it last week, I'm trying to choose my words carefully. Please understand that it doesn't matter what is going on in the United States. Hey, Miss Delia, the United States does not control what happens in other people's countries. I'm sure they think they do, but they don't. You can threaten everybody with tariffs and all that, and trade and whatever. But when it comes to entry-exit documents for other countries, the United States has no business with how you get in or out of another country. The United States business is how you get in to the United States. If you want to leave the United States, they cannot stop you from leaving. If anything, this is what this new administration is trying to do, to get as many people out of the country as possible. They're not asking them for travel documents or passports, right? They're literally deporting people that are not even from Mexico to Mexico. So go figure. So if you are going to a country that requires you as a green card holder or as a citizen to have a visa stamp in your passport to enter that specific country, that is that country's law, not the United States. The United States no one at CBP can force you or deny you, can prevent you from going outside the country unless the airlines themselves because the thing is, you have to understand that airlines can be sanctioned if travelers do not have the appropriate travel documents to get into a certain country. So if a country, for instance, I was talking the other day that there was this lady talking about, she was denied entry in the United States, yada, yada, yada. The whole story was she's from Ivory Coast, and no. Ivory Coast is one of the countries that does not allow dual citizenship. So if you are going to, if you're from a country where once you become a U.S. citizen, you're basically renouncing that your home country citizenship, then that means that in order for you to go back there, you're going to need to have a visa stamp, right? And I gave the example of myself not having an NIN number yet, and I can't get a passport. I can't renew my Nigerian passport because I don't have that. So if I needed to go to Nigeria, it's Nigeria, well, some things can happen. But anyway, I digress. If I needed to go to Nigeria for whatever reason, emergency, whatever case may be, I may have to get a visa stamp because I don't have a Nigerian passport that I can renew, right? But that's different from someone, but it does not mean that I cannot get a Nigerian passport because Nigeria recognizes dual citizenship. A passport is an entry-exit document. It allows you to, and just like a visa stamp, allows you to go in and out of a certain country depending on the laws. Based on each country's laws, airlines also have to check whether or not you've got the appropriate documents to be able to board a plane. For instance, if you travel outside the United States and you're trying to come back in and you do not have, you're going on Delta, for instance, you don't have your, an example would be you've got a 751 pending. You go back to your home country, you're trying to get back, you don't have your your green card with you, whether or not it's expired, you don't have your extension notice with you, they're not going to let you board the plane. Because if they let you board the plane, even though they're not CBP, they know that the United States has already said if these individuals do not possess these documents, they cannot enter the country. And if you let them get on your airline, you are going to be sanctioned. So and the protection, the customs and border protection basically starts from the airline, because they have to make sure that they're carrying on passengers who have the right documentation when they arrive at the U.S. port of entry to be able to enter. Dealing with CBP is another issue, but at least they're going to get you there with the right documents. So it is an exit and entry thing specific to each country. So that whole thing is completely false. Completely false. Take it to the bank. False. Because people are going to, and it's amazing how people just say things so, confidently. When you're confident in a rumor, it's amazing. You've got to analyze it and understand how things work. No one is going to stop you. I mean, think about it. No one is going to stop you, because you have to get to the country where you're going, your destination, and they will decide whether or not you're coming in based on the documents you have. Now, because the airlines have to take you there, the airlines may deny you boarding if you do not have specific documents that the country of your destination country has asked them to check. If you don't have that, hey, finance Jenny, then they may not allow you to board. And if they don't allow you to board, you ain't going nowhere. It's as simple as that. So take that to the bank. That takes care of that. Now, still talking about travel. Is it true that, so true or false is what we're doing, Immigration Edition. Is it true that as a green card holder, the CBP is stopping people at the port of entry and denying them entry into the United States, even if you have a green card? It is partially false and partially true. Let me explain. Okay. What is going on? And this is something that I get a lot of information every single day. I research, I verify, I take time before. Traveling. Are you traveling right now? I take time before because we have a lady, Kyla, who does our social media posts, but obviously because most of the things we, if not everything we post, most of the things we post are legal information. So I have to verify that it's actually accurate. So sometimes, people are like, hey, is this true? If I'm not posting it, it's not because I haven't heard about it. It's because I haven't verified it myself. So when it comes to people who are traveling and you've got a green card, it's you. If as a green card holder, CBP does not have the authority to stop you from coming into the United States. You've got a permanent resident card. That is evidence that you live in the United States permanently. That's what it means. Permanent, legal permanent resident, permanent card. But here are the issues that people are having at the port of entry that they will not tell you, because everybody gets on social media and wants to have viral video. Immigration should not be about viral video. It should be about information, because when you make immigration about viral video, you are playing with people's lives. So if you've got a green card and you're stopped at the port of entry, what they're doing now is, unlike the Biden administration, even the previous Republican administrations where it wasn't a big deal, this administration is focused on deportation. Any way they can get that done, they are doing it. So that means they are prying into your information that you probably had forgotten about even existed. You've carried on with your life, you live your life, and now you get to the port of entry and they tell you, oh, by the way, even though you are a green card holder, we see that you still have an open case in court. Is it possible? So the next question is it possible that a green card holder can have an open case in court or an order of deportation? Absolutely. An example, you come in, you come in through the port of entry, you present yourself for admission, CBP admits you, ICE admits you as an arriving alien, right? But they place you in removal proceedings. You apply for asylum in court. Your asylum case is denied. The immigration judge enters an order of removal. That's an order of removal for you to be removed out of the country. However, you get married to a citizen. That person files for you. Even though you've got an order of removal, as an arriving alien, if you are paroled into the country as an arriving alien, USCIS has exclusive jurisdiction to adjudicate your green card application in spite of you having an order of removal against you. So that means that because USCIS has jurisdiction to adjudicate your green card application, your I-130 gets approved, I-45 gets approved, you get a green card. Most of the time, they will even let you know you have your green card, but you still have to reopen your case in court and have that terminated, usually before you travel. Most people don't do that. They just say, I have a green card. It doesn't matter what's been going on in court. What this administration is doing is, if you fall within that situation, if in spite of you traveling in and out in previous times, you still have that order of removal in court, but you've got a green card, you've been allowed to come in. What they're doing is, if that order removal is still in place, they are using that to now detain that person or refer you back to immigration court, detain you and put you back in court to go take care of that issue. That's one group of people who are being detained or placed back in deportation proceedings in spite of having a green card. Second group of people is those who have a 2-year green card and it's been pending. You've got an I-51 stamp or an extension notice. You travel, and unfortunately, you're on your way back, and while you were outside the country, your case is denied. If your I-751 is denied while you are outside the country, usually you get a denial notice that says that henceforth your conditional residency has been terminated. Even though you've got the I-51 stamp, if CBP pulls up your record and they see that, that is a basis for which they are detaining people who fall into that category. Or your I-751 was already denied, but you filed an appeal, or referred to immigration court, you have a 290B pending, you have immigration court, and you have an immigration court. If you've got a 290B pending based on the lines I-751, or even if you've been referred to immigration court, you still are allowed to get an I-51 stamp because you're still regarded as a resident until a judge makes a decision in your case. And you see people who travel in spite of being in court, in spite of having a 290B pending, because they have that stamp, they travel, they've been traveling without any issues on the previous administration. But this administration is just doing things differently. If you fall in that category, they are detaining you, they're placing people in removal proceedings. Those two categories of people have green cards, yet they're being placed in deportation, they're being detained. If you do not fall within those categories that I've just described, there's absolutely no reason why CBP should take your green card, detain you, you call CNN, call MSB, whatever, MSBC, whatever they call MSC, whatever the other one is, MBS, whatever it is, CNN anymore. ABC, NBC. Tell them to come because these people are going to violate your rights. Because there is no reason, if you don't fall within those categories, there's no reason why CBP should take your green card or detain you for any reason. Even if you fall within those categories, you have a right to see an immigration judge. Two ways by which things your green card can be taken away. You get to immigration court, the judge now makes a decision and says your permanent residency status has been terminated, or you yourself forfeit your card, meaning you sign, I think you have to complete an I-4 or 7, don't quote me, but I think that's the form where you voluntarily give up your card. Obviously, you're not going to be in this country and wait all those years and get your card for you to now voluntarily give it up. If none of those two things happen, even if you fall within the categories of those I have described, you've got a right to have your day in court, immigration court, and that's what you have to make sure that you request. If not, make all the noise you need to make, call your attorney, because there's no reason why you should not be allowed to enter in spite of being detained. I hope that clarifies that, because there's a whole lot. So that's why I said partly true, partly false when it comes to that. This video is going to be up after the live, so you can replay it if you have to send it to anyone. Okay, let's see. Oh, is it true or false? Is it true that people can now buy citizenship? I'm not making this up. Is it true that you can now pay for U.S. citizenship? Is it true that you can now pay for U.S. citizenship? There's some truth to it. And here's why there's some truth to it. I think it was just today that this new president decided that he wants to implement a new pathway to citizenship, where wealthy immigrants who are willing to invest no less than $5 million will get what he's going to call a gold card. So basically, he's trying to replace the EB-5 investor program, but you will get a gold card if you're willing to invest $5 million, and it's going to put you on a path to citizenship. So basically, you're paying $5 million to be able to get U.S. citizen, so to get on the path to becoming a U.S. citizen. So they're trying to weed out people who don't have that money, and they're trying to bring out just the rich folks from Europe or something, or from South Africa, where his minion is from. So true or false? Yeah, that's what he is. It's not a policy yet. It's not a law yet. It's just something he announced today that he wants to do. So basically, because the EB-5 has been around since over 3 decades. But that's so. Is it true that he plans to do that? Yes, it is. But is it in effect yet? No, it's just something that. So we're just going to have to see how this goes. Okay. And I think, let's see what else. Citizenship. Okay. True or false? Can you still travel? Is it true that you can no longer travel with your advanced parole? Yeah. $5 million. Yeah. True or false? Is it true or false that you can no longer travel your advanced parole? I'm yet, knocking wood, I'm yet to see any of my clients have any issues coming back in after a travel with advanced parole. Advanced parole, the whole point of that having advanced parole is that you're able to travel and come back in to now resume your pending application with USCIS. That's the whole point of that. And that's because if you leave the United States without an advanced parole, you're basically abandoning your pending application. And in order for you for your case not to be considered that you've abandoned it, then you must have a re-entry permit, which is what the advanced parole does, and allows you to come back in to resume your application. Now, if you've got if you've got a case in court, or you've got a removal order, just like I explained with the green card holders, and you travel advanced parole, like for instance, a lot of people traveled under Biden or previous administration. I have quite a number of DACA clients who have removal orders in court, but they have DACA. We applied for advanced parole. They were able to get advanced parole to travel for work, travel for seminars, travel for medical treatment, and come back in spite of the removal order. None of my DACA clients are going anywhere under this administration. It's not going to happen. Even though they've got advanced parole, no, it's not going to happen because of their removal orders that they have in court, which would not have posed an issue. Same applies for those who have TPS, which, as we know, TPS is coming to an end. But that's the only concern I would have with anyone traveling with advanced parole. If you've got a case in court, whatever case may be. So that's just going to be my concern as far as advanced parole. So I don't know of anyone of my clients who's not been able to come back in, because the whole point of it is so you can come back and resume your case. But speak with an attorney, speak with your lawyer. If you don't have one, speak with an attorney before you leave the United States. Okay. And the last thing, true or false? Is it true that all immigrants are not going to be required to register with the Department of Homeland Security? It is true. I think it was announced today. Now, how that's going to play out, I don't know. But if you go on the USCI's website, and I think they actually put it on their social media as well, that all aliens, that's what they call us, all aliens are going to be required to register with the Department of Homeland Security within 30 days from, I don't know when, from what date. So I guess we're going to get more information about that, to register with the Department of Homeland Security. So everybody, so the goal is to be, and I think this is what they want to use that for. They're looking for a way to get a centralized system and have everyone's information, go through all of that to be able to see who's here legally, who's not here legally, and use that as a basis, because you're going to register obviously your name, your date of birth, where you live, all that information. And if you have a child that is under the age of 14, that child is exempt from registration. Anyone that is 14 years old and older is going to be required to register. So it's the same thing as if, when you change your address, where you're required to, notify USCIS that you have changed your address. You just that, it's been very lax and all that. They're not trying to make it mandatory for all aliens. That's what they said. I didn't say, it's not my word of choice. It's what they said. In other words, all immigrants that aliens are required to register with the Department of Homeland Security. Failure to register with the DHS is going to be either a civil or criminal penalty. There isn't much information about the process and when that starts. Before I came on this live, for me to give you much information about that, what I can tell you is that's what USCIS is going to start implementing for registration. And in addition to that, any alien that is 18 years old or and older is going to be issued a registration certificate or something, evidence of registration that you're required to carry around with you everywhere you go. Yeah. Welcome to America. I'm laughing because it's unbelievable. But yes, is registration going to be required? Yes. How that's going to play out, we're yet to see. I'm sure we're going to get more information as the days go by. What that's going to entail, how it needs to be done, how they want. But I think it's just a way for them, because they're having a hard time being able to get. I always say I live in a country. I really do. I live in a town of maybe 40,000 people. There's this local guy who has a Facebook page that he lets us know everything that's going on around town. Yo, when I tell you, I woke up yesterday morning and there was a story he published of pictures of ICE. This is not, they said no, there were actually pictures of ICE trucks and all geared, decked up in their uniform. In certain places, there's a place where I know there's quite a number of Hispanic people that live in my town. And so that's what they were. at least 4 of their trucks, and I was like, wow, even in my small town. And it's amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did something. And I went into this comment section. It was a mix of, some people were like, these are the people that keep our town. These are people that they work hard. And then half of the comment, because I live in the South, half of the comment was like, well, that's good. We need to get rid of them. You go send them back. It's a new America. It's a new America. So that's the true or false. Like I said, this video is going to be all for whoever wants to review everything we've talked about, so you know what is actually true, what is actually false up till today. Keep in mind, things can change because we live in uncertain times. The only certain thing we have is knowing that God remains in control. God remains in control. That's one thing that's not going to change. So there you have it. There you have it, people. Let's just keep praying. Let's keep praying. All right. Disclaimer questions, answers to questions, the general information, nothing specific to anyone's case. So let's get as many as possible. Okay. Hello, Mr. Peter. Good evening. Oh, Peter from Nigeria. Thank you for joining. What time is it in Nigeria? It's like what? 4 a.m.? Oh, wow. Thank you for joining in. Thank you. Absolutely. Ola F. Good evening. Miss Tina, you're what are you reading? I'm going to play by no Instagram. Okay, but hi, Miss Tina. Hi, Miss Tina. Hello, Miss Christiana. How are you? Don't be nervous. I will not be able to attend. I can tell you that for sure. I don't know when it's going to be, but I know, because I know that March and April is just not something I can make down to Chicago. But let's get the notice, and I will go from there. But so let me, Miss Christiana, let me tell you this: every single VAR client of mine that lives in Midwest, for whatever reason, I'm not sure, Missouri, Illinois, Minnesota, Indiana, every last one of them has been scheduled for an interview. Every single one. Not sure why. And not sure why. I couldn't tell you why. Now, I'm not going to be surprised, and I said it before, that with this new administration, it looks like if you've got a pending 485, even if your file has been approved and all that, it looks like everyone is going to be scheduled for an interview. If you have a marriage-based case that is as strong as possible, it looks like everybody's going to be scheduled for an interview. So there's nothing to be nervous about. I don't say anything to be nervous about, really. So I don't know what's in my eye. So hello, Miss Giwa. How are you? No, listen, my husband does not want to get a divorce. He does not have his I-10. His I-10 because his divorce paper was stated. The lawyer submitted to reopen the case. He never got his I. So what's your question? Okay. COVID vaccine that is no longer required in the U.S. Does this apply to those in consular processing? That's going to be a Department of State. Keep in mind that USCIS is a different agency under DHS. Department of State is that controls the embassy. So that's not a question I can answer. That's up to the Department of State. Is it wise to transfer one's case from Nigeria to Togo or Benin as a result of the habit? There's nothing wrong with it as long as they accept your case in that embassy. Hello, Pastor Isaac. Good evening, Pastor Isaac. Ekale. Always good. I'm always glad when you're able to, because I know you work a lot and pastor at church at the same time. So thank you. Okay, let's see. He threatened me with putting voodoo on me from his country. Okay. The sister would like to call you and pay you $5,000 to file a lawsuit. Will you help us to help her brother? I'm not really sure this is. I'm not sure this is an immigration case. What lawsuit are you talking about? Anyway, okay. Unsolicited evidence or not in USCIS, is it better to upload evidence to prove the bona fides of marriage when the power filing doesn't have enough? I usually say wait for USCIS to send your request for evidence if they need to. Okay, let me take this one out here. You can go do your Trump thing somewhere else. It's amazing how people have time to come on, and they're trying to find, and they're trying to they're firing people because they say they're not efficient, or there's government waste. These are the kind of people they really need to figure out. And I can guarantee you that people who have enough time to write all of this crazy stuff on social media and do all this racist stuff, they're the ones probably really getting government assistance because they've got so much time on their hands. So much time on their hands. You have to have enough time on your hands to sit yourself on social media and have, yeah. I was gonna say something else, but yeah, okay. Let's see. My wife earned $19,000 in 2023, and USC has issued an RFE requesting a co-sponsor for my I-485 application. Can my son, who earned $31,000 in 2024, serve as a joint sponsor along with my wife, who earned in as long as your son is at least a green card holder or a citizen, it has to be a green card holder or a citizen to be a joint sponsor, and makes enough to cover the number of households. So for instance, if you are the only immigrant and your son is single, then the I-864, your son will fill the number of people that it's going to be in the I-864 will be a total of 2. So as long as he makes enough income based on the I-864P guidelines for a household of 2, then you can use that. Okay, then you can use that. You can just send his alone in response to the RFE. Monkey Gray, thank you. Okay, so lawyers said they can file a lawsuit against US. So you're talking about filing a lawsuit against USS. I don't do lawsuit against US. I used to. I no longer do. So if that's what you're talking about, okay. If you're the only, yeah, okay. So that answers your question. All right. Right hand access the blood faster than me that way. Okay, then I can scroll with my left hand. Hello, Miss Mazala. How are you? Hello, Miss Nileji. How are you? How are you? Thank you for always coming in. Hello, Lady V8. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome in. Let's see. Pepper Soup _ Corridor from Canada. Thank you for joining in. I was actually thinking of going to Canada next month. But Delta T, thank God for saving those people's lives. It wasn't. I'm not laughing because it's funny. It was like, what the heck is going on? And Delta is usually that's my go-to airline. Like if unless Delta is just not flying that route, something before I consider something else. But Delta has like no. Canada do because I was like, what the heck is going on? But thank you. Plenty01 from Texas, welcome. Fujo and Couture, hello from Canada. Thank you. Canadian are in the house tonight. Y'all want me to go to Canada? She got it. Yeah, I'm telling you, Miss Linda, it's like your comments are fine. I'm telling you. Mama's up. A57. Hello from Pennsylvania. Philadelphia, I should say. Okay. Thank you for following. Tell Miss Bennett that the headmistress says she's fine. She's excused for tonight. Good to have you, Mr. Magic. Welcome back. How's your wife doing? How is married life? I hope you guys are doing well. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. My vow is 3 years next month. Is it normal to get a letter that my I-45 was transferred to another office while my vow? Yes. So let me address that. And I think that's one update that's been driving a lot of my clients crazy as well. You're going to get so many transfer notices back and forth. Sometimes we don't even get those notices. We just get the alerts. And my clients are like, okay, so lawyer even notice, but I need to go back. Because I think they can't even keep up with their transfer. I'm not really sure what the whole point transfer from Vermont Service Center to the Nebraska Service Center to and then when you're and in even before the VAT is approved, if they're just trying to move forward with your I-45, they may start transferring it to the field office that has jurisdiction over your case based on where you live. So if you get the transfers, it's got nothing to do with whether or not your VAT is going to be approved. It's just their own adjudication process. So put your mind at ease as when you get all those transfers. It's just an adjudication step. It has nothing to do with, it has no bearing on whether or not you have sufficient evidence or whatever the case may be. So I hope that answers your question. So I'm not sure. Okay. A friend of mine, a friend of mine has an asylum interview on the 25th of March. Is it advisable for her to go, or should she postpone the interview because of the Trump administration? I can't answer that because I don't know anything about her case. And so whether or not she should go depends on, I would assume she has a lawyer, because it's not advisable for you to go to an asylum interview yourself. When you are dealing with an immigration benefit that has less than 25% approval rate nationwide, it's always best to go with an attorney who's going to help you with preparation and rebuttals if the need be. Hello, Mr. Kelvin. 𝒂𝒏𝒕. Let's see. Explain to them, Jerry. You're welcome. What your green card exactly? Okay. I was told you're going back home from Canada with my green card. Exactly. So yeah. Absolutely, financial. So, but if you fall in those categories, unfortunately, this is what we're seeing because people who have traveled without any issues. I've got people who we got green cards for, and still stuck in immigration court process because maybe some of them the case was appealed to BIA. BIA refused to reopen and remand back to immigration court, but they had the green card and they were able to travel without any issues. But not under this administration. We've called all of them and say, hey, even though I no longer represent, just saying, hey, just so you know, this is what's going on. But if you don't fall within that category, then there's really nothing. Just nobody can guarantee anything. These people are not necessarily following the law, but even if they don't follow the law, doesn't mean you don't have you shouldn't know your rights. Trump is just a businessman pathway to making money. He's running the country like a business, and that's the thing. And people are seeing, and unfortunately, what's the word I can use? The people who voted for him, most of them are not even in the same class as he is, financially, socially, economically. Let's just call it spade a spade. So you're just going with the flow. This person has no clue, has never lived your life because he's always, when you're born with a silver spoon, he's always fended and catered to those who can also, rub my back and rub yours. He's got to benefit him. So obviously it makes sense to him that you can buy citizenship for $5 million, but then you can deport the hardworking blue collar, immigrants just because they don't have papers. But you can bring the ones that have the $5 million, even though if they violated U.S. immigration laws at some point, it doesn't matter. But hey, they voted for him, so there we go. I would like to schedule consultation. Need to know if this can be done virtually and what's the charge. Yes, we actually do. Even if you were in Demopolis, my office, I do all my consults virtually. If you go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com, that's the easiest way and fastest way to schedule your consultation. 140, 30 minutes, 210, 45 minutes, 265, 1 hour. But it's on the website. That's the fastest way. If I have an ongoing court case, will USCIS be notified immediately? If it's a civil case, not necessarily, unless it has a bearing on your immigration status. If it's a criminal case, definitely, because they can pull it up. They can pull anything up because of, court cases are usually public records, but what usually would have an impact, unless it's like your own taxes or garnishment, is something that's going to have a bearing on the immigration case. Oh, thank you, Finance Shandy. I didn't even know. Thanks for. Does the registration include citizens? No, just aliens. And I'm not even sure. I have to get more information because when they say aliens, are they also talking about green card holders as well, or just people who I would assume green card holders? I don't know, but we'll get more information about that. And most people are not repeating questions, but brother to bring or sister to bring civil case. Yeah, and then can I repeat question? No. I think some people who overstay the 180 days will not register because that would be a problem. That's the goal. God's favorite 82. That's they want to make it mandatory so that everyone is afraid not to be charged with a crime. And then you register and like, okay, no one is going to, because you're going to register and put your information. But it's just that information. I don't think they would, they would. I mean, let's just see how it plays out. But if you're going to tell people you have to say what your immigration status is, I'm not sure who's going to show up. But at the same time, if you're going to threaten that if you don't register, you're going to be charged with a crime, it's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't kind of situation. So we'll just have to wait and see how things go. Yeah, as we get more information, I just don't want to say, that's what I know so far, that they've just released that there's going to be a requirement for registration. It doesn't apply to those who are under the age of 14. And there's going to be a registration, evidence of registration that's going to, that anyone 18 years and older will be required to carry with them. But let's just see how things go. We'll get you more information about that. If someone is owing IRS but on the payment plan, does this affect the green card application? As long as you're on a payment plan and you're making the payments, you should be fine. Disclaimer. General information. My wife is fine now, because she's saying hello to the whole firm. Thank you, Mr. Marge. I'm telling you, in short, God just singled you out and just blessed you, because you and I were thinking you had a 2-year green card. Right? Like, okay, this is what you can file for removal of conditions, and then we got his green card. It was 10 years. Like, what? No. Why does he have it? I was like, there's an error. I was like, oh, this is why he has a 10-year green card. And yeah, listen, that was just so enjoy, knock yourself out. Enjoy. I can't see. No, it's not red. I have funny shiny. I have like pink eyeshadow over my eye, and my, what's it called? My lenses are actually tinted. And you won't really notice, but they're colored. But some of them, because I have so many pairs of glasses. Yeah, I just have some that I think it's just lint or something in my eye. Yeah, it's not. So that's what it is. But thank you. But that's not it. It's actually my lenses. Okay, let's see. If I have a conversation with you for 30 minutes, we'll end up needing more time. Do I just pay up the difference, or I'll get? No, if you whatever you book for is what you book for. So if you know you're going to need more than 30 minutes, you're going to, because I usually have back-to-back consults, so I cannot tell the next person that no. So it doesn't work that way, because I'm usually booked that way. So you would have to decide based on what you want to talk about. You would have to decide how much time you need. Joining for the first time, Modupe, thank you for joining. Yes, I still haven't recovered from the miracle. It's indeed a miracle, I'm telling you. Mr. Sanger says that's the type of miracle that shuts them out of naysayers. Absolutely. Yes. Okay, let's go to TikTok. What's the time? No problem, Miss Christiana. So nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about when God is in control. And 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 by your right side, but they shall not come near you. Only with your eyes will you behold the reward of the wicked. There is nothing to worry about. Faith and fear cannot coexist. You've got to choose one. If you're going to have faith, then fear cannot stand. And you cannot let fear control you, because it would cripple you and it would deprive you of your blessing. So let's see. I've sent a couple of emails to you. I don't know who you are, Wale Oguns. If you sent emails to my office or anyone in my office, I can guarantee you would have gotten a response. You may not like the response you get, especially when you tell people you have to pay for consultation. But I don't know who you are. And if you're talking of messages on TikTok and you call that emails, we don't respond to message on TikTok. If you send a message on TikTok, you will get an auto response saying messages are not responded to on TikTok. So if you keep sending it without reading what you're getting back, that's on you. Hello, Miss Delia. How are you? Yeah, I know I can get the NIN number done in the United States. I know. I'm just saying that I haven't done it, because my whole family is here. So 𝒂𝒐𝒓𝒌𝒊𝒕 is what I'm saying. I've got 10 years green card and I saved to travel for a few weeks. I'm not going to say anything. What I've said is what I said. But as far as whether a specific person can travel, speak with the attorney who helped you in your case. Is there interview for I-751? I was going to answer that, but I saw that you repeated your question at least 10 times. So I'm going to skip it. People even travel to Nigeria with expired passport. Are you serious? Like, you're talking of expired passport? Like passport to expire like 10 years ago? We listen, we don't judge. We listen, we don't judge. So passport to expire like 10 years ago? Can they still? Because it should be told, when I got my US passport, I didn't really my Nigerian passport anymore. But listen, we don't judge. That's all. My cousin has asylum interview on the 2nd of April. Is advisor for him to attend or postpone. So this person is cousin, but how is it that your questions are the same on Instagram and TikTok, but instead of cousin you say friend, but it's this and it's exact. Oh, got you. But it's the same response. And the person would have to meet with an attorney to figure out why they want to postpone. Keeping in mind, I mean, how strong is their case and all that? Do they have their work permit yet? All of that good stuff. Is it true undocumented immigrants now have to make an account within? Okay, so that's what I was talking about. It's not an account. I don't know. I don't know the full details, but that's what I just talked about. That registration within 30 days, but effective work date. So probably by tomorrow we'll get more information about the requirements. But that's what the registration is about. How does one correct typo from USCIS? You contact them. How many times can one file I-539 change of status? Depends on what it is you're filing. If you're filing for extension of like a B1, B2, you can only do it 2 times. So, yeah. My 751 case was withdrawn by my spouse while pending. What can I do? Sit down with a lawyer and figure out what waiver option you may have. Shinda, I think I'm just going to take you out of this because this is ridiculous. How can you put your question at least 20 times? Because I'm looking through it and you did that. That's just ridiculous. Someone said 5 million. Very. Okay, now. And I'm offering $5 million. Listen, that would be my marine later. And my take we just take over the life because we travel the whole world. And DJ will come live with you. Okay, let's see. Is it advisable to go ahead and divorce my husband that has disappeared? Vow has been submitted. Okay, so with a prima facie determination, this is what I usually say. If you don't necessarily have to get a divorce while you have your vow case pending, and there's no urgency, the other person is not pressurizing you, just leave it as is, because God forbid you need to start all over again. I had a consult with someone today that the perfect case scenario would have been for her to start again. But unfortunately, she's been divorced 3 years now. If she was still within the 2 years, but that would have been because she has everything all fixed now, that it would have been the best case would be for her to start all over again, but she's already divorced. That's usually why I tell people, if you don't necessarily have to get divorced, just hold on, let the vow get approved, and then you can move on from there. So the divorce doesn't affect, but that's the only reason why I always say, just if you don't have to, just let the vow case be approved, and then you can get the divorce subsequent to that. But a divorce does not affect your vow case negatively. That's just what I usually say, that it may be a benefit to hold on. Do I get a reply from USCIS after an RFE? For the most part, you just get an alert saying we received your response to your request for evidence. Sometimes you may not. That's why you have to send everything to USCIS with tracking information. Okay, let's see. Can I call you tomorrow morning? You're welcome to call our office. My secretary will be there to take your call. If you need to talk about your immigration case, you would have to schedule a consultation with me. Have you read the new regulations about the alien registration requirements issued today? That's exactly what we talked about. Okay. USCIS has approved my fiancé visa application and they sent the application to NVC. What is my next step for your fiancé to apply for the K1 visa? I'm bringing my husband from Nigeria. His case was approved. He was granted a 10-year green card. Okay, so what's your question? Would we run into a problem at the airport coming from Nigeria? That's not a question I can answer. After biometrics, how soon can one expect work permit and social security number? There's no time frame. You just go on uscis.gov/processing time to look at the time frame for I-765 applications. Yesterday, my fiance's interview for fiancé visa, they gave administrative processing letter. Okay, what's the question? I'm just curious as to how you slay effortlessly with your fluent Yoruba. Oh, my Yoruba is not fluent. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Yeah. Somebody can ask you exam Yoruba by Kashiri. Let my mom come tell you the truth. What is the number for your law firm? 334-341-4475. It's on our bio if you go on our page. Well, 334-341-4475. Okay. I think what we're gonna do. Yeah, just say I love your hair. Thank you. Well, if no new updates or anything doesn't happen to now Thursday, we'll come back on Thursday, and because there's so many questions and more, so we'll come back on Thursday. Yeah. Just spend your time creating a fake profile on social media. That's what happens when you actually are on living off the government, and then you say it's the immigrants that are living off the government. Anyway, I digress. We'll come back on Thursday. We'll do questions, so we'll take as many questions as possible, unless something comes up that I just need to share with you guys. But the truth of it, and in all seriousness, there are so many, policies. There's so many updates. There's a whole lot going on in the immigration world concerning immigrants. You cannot be phased. You cannot be phased, because then you would let fear creep in and you let anxiety take over. In times like this is when we call on God the most, because he would surely show up for us. Even when everything looks like it's a stormy situation, We call upon the person who was able to be our peace in the middle of the storm. Right in the midst of the storm, he can give you peace. He can make a way where there seems to be no way, and and disappoint the devices of the crafty. He is God who is an expert in sending disappointment and embarrassment in the way of the enemy. There's no one who is an expert more than God himself to do that on your behalf. It may look like there's confusion everywhere, but trust me when I tell you, when God steps in, there's nothing anybody can do. So just hold on, keep doing what you're doing. Again, be proactive, file what you can, get those applications in, get yourself authorized to stay, but leave the rest in God's hands, because you cannot fight your own battles. We can't fight our own battles, but we can leave it in the capable hands of God, who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ever ask or think. Everyone that is living and breathing beside us, they are breathing because they have the breath of God, whether they know that or not, or accept or acknowledge that. And so if anyone is going to make life miserable for his own chosen ones, he would defend our plight, and he would fight our battles. Let's just keep going. Let them keep saying it. But whatever decisions they make, the heart of the king is in his hands. He will make those decisions favor us, even against those who thought it was going to be to our detriment. So just keep holding on. God remains in control. I'll see you guys on Thursday.